I sent private photos to a coworker thinking it was harmless, but my husband's revenge destroyed me. Hello, Reddit. I don't even know why I'm posting this. Maybe I just need to get it off my chest. Maybe I need someone to tell me what the hell I'm supposed to do now. Maybe I just want to put my thoughts somewhere because my head has been spinning nonstop and I feel like I'm suffocating. I've just come to the realization that I fucked up my entire life for a few fucking moments of attention, and I don't know how to live with what I've done. Every time I try to wrap my head around it, it feels like my brain short circuits. Like I'm watching someone else's life implode, except it's mine, and there's no rewind button, no do-over, no way to unsend or undo anything. I don't even know why I'm posting this. I keep typing, deleting, staring at the screen, wondering if putting this out there will somehow make it easier to breathe, but I don't think it will. Nothing will. Nothing does. The guilt and weight of what I've done is crushing me, and no matter how many times I replay it in my head, I can't change the ending. I guess I should start with a bit of background. For context, my husband, let's call him Josh, and I have been together for almost 10 years, married for 6. We met in college, did the whole young love thing, and got married right after we both landed stable jobs. Josh has always been my best friend, the one person I could always count on. He's patient, understanding, and kind to a fault. The kind of guy who never raises his voice, never holds a grudge, and always assumes the best in people, especially in me. And maybe that was the problem. Because the thing is, when you have something, when you've had something for so long, you start to take it for granted. You stop appreciating it the way you once did, not because it's lost its value, but because you assume it will always be there, no matter what. You get used to the security, the presence of someone who loves you unconditionally. And when something is constant, when something is reliable, when something is safe, you stop noticing it. Not in a way that means you don't love it anymore, but in a way that makes it feel less exciting, less new and more boring. It starts to feel boring. And that's the fucked up part, isn't it? That something good, something great can start to feel boring. Not because it's lacking, not because it's wrong, but simply because it's always there. Day after day, night after night. I know that kind of security should feel like the greatest gift in the world, because it's like knowing deep in your bones that no matter what happens, no matter how bad your day was, no matter how much of a mess you are, there's someone who will always choose you. That person becomes your home. But instead of feeling grateful, I started to feel trapped. And I hate myself for it. I hate myself for even saying that now. I hate myself for even thinking it. Because what kind of person gets bored of being loved like that? Who gets tired of being someone's first choice every single day without hesitation? Who starts resenting the one person who has never once made them feel like they were too much, or not enough, or anything other than everything? But that's exactly what happened. And the worst part? It wasn't intentional. I swear to God it wasn't. I didn't wake up one morning and decide to be ungrateful. I didn't sit there and plan to start resenting my own marriage. It just happened. I don't even know what I was thinking. But if I'm going to be brutally honest, I was bored. They say you don't know what you have until it's gone. And damn, that is so fucking true. Because looking back now, I can't even believe I was actually bored. Like, bored? Really? What the fuck was wrong with me? I mean, okay, Josh and I had been together for 10 years. 10 whole years. That's an entire decade of the same person, the same sex, the same routines, the same habits. We knew each other inside and out. There were no more surprises, no more newness. And I hate myself for even thinking this, but sometimes I actually wondered what it would have been like if I had ended up with someone else. Yeah. I know how fucked up that sounds. I know how cruel it is. But sometimes my mind would wander when I'd ask myself, what if? What if Josh and I had broken up somewhere along the way? What if we'd never found our way back to each other? Would my life be more exciting? Would I feel different? Would I feel more fulfilled? I don't know. I guess I was just going through some kind of midlife crisis, even though I'm not even fucking old. But that's what it felt like. Like I was standing in the middle of my life, looking around and wondering if this was it, if this was all there was ever going to be. And then there was Nick. I'll call him Nick. Nick was that guy. You know the type. The effortlessly charming one. The kind of guy who could walk into a room and instantly have everyone laughing, who never tried too hard but always made you feel like you were in on some inside joke. We worked in the same office, and it was just easy with him. He was fun. He was funny. And it was harmless at first. At first it was nothing. Just banter. Just fun. It was just the kind of fun that made the workday go by faster, you know? Casual conversation here and there. A few compliments exchanged in passing. A little extra attention during meetings. Innocent, right? Then it turned into grabbing lunch together. Sitting a little too close. Laughing a little too hard at each other's jokes. Looking forward to seeing him just a little too much. And that is when I should have stopped. That's when I should have shut it down, taken a step back, reminded myself of who I was, of what I had. But I didn't. At first, I told myself Nick and I were just friends. That was all. Nothing more. I mean, I was a married woman, and he was actually engaged. That should have been enough to keep me in check, right? That should have been the line we never crossed because, common fucking sense. But I told myself it wasn't a big deal. We weren't doing anything wrong. We were just talking. Just harmless conversations. And the thing is, it was so easy to justify. Because technically we hadn't done anything. Technically we were just two coworkers getting along. Having fun. Technically there was no crime in sharing a joke, in enjoying someone's company. And God, that's how it starts, isn't it? With the things you can explain away. I just want to put this out there. I'm not trying to justify myself. I'm not sitting here trying to paint myself as some kind of victim or make excuses for what I did. I know I fucked up. I know I was the one at fault. I don't even know. So yeah, soon Nick and I started texting. And of course, like always, it started off innocent. It always does. It was mostly about work, complaining about deadlines, joking about annoying coworkers, exchanging memes, just harmless shit. It was fun. And I didn't even realize how much I had started looking forward to his texts. I told myself it was just because he was fun to talk to, because he got me, because he made me laugh. And that was all it was. He was just a friend. But then, the conversation started changing. It wasn't about work anymore. It wasn't just joking or bantering. It started getting personal. We started talking about our relationships. We started complaining about the little things, about how boring it could get, about how the routine of being with the same person for years started to wear on you. And I started venting to him, about Josh, about how our life had become so boring, how it felt like we were just existing together instead of living, and I said things I never should have said to another man, things that should have stayed between me and my husband. And Nick? Nick ate it up. He told me he felt the same way about his fiancée, that even though they weren't married yet, she had changed, that things between them weren't exciting anymore, that sometimes he wondered if settling down had been a mistake. And looking back now, that should have been the moment we stopped. That should have been the moment we both took a step back and asked ourselves, what the fuck are we doing? But of course we didn't. Instead, we let it continue. And then, just like that, the texting evolved. The flirting started slow, so subtly that I barely even noticed it at first. A playful tease here, a harmless compliment there, just little things, nothing serious. But instead of shutting it down like I should have, I let it happen. No, I encouraged it. Because in my head, it was innocent. It was just words, right? Harmless flirting. It wasn't like we were actually going to do anything. We were just playing around, just having a little fun. And that's how I started fucking up my entire life. The first picture I sent to him, it wasn't even bad. Just a simple mirror selfie. I was wearing a dress, fully clothed, nothing revealing, nothing crazy. Just a casual, look at me today kind of thing. A little exchange between friends. And when he complimented me, I loved it. Because sure, Josh complimented me all the time, but he was my husband. That was different. It hit different when it came from someone else. And that's why I sent another one. And then another. And before I even knew what was happening, it escalated fast. The pictures became more revealing. And suddenly, I was sending him full-on nude pics. And every single time he reacted, every time he told me how hot I was, I ate it up. I thrived on it. And yeah, of course I felt guilty, but it was like I couldn't stop. Like I was addicted to the attention, And I was so fucking reckless. I mean, I was literally taking those pictures in our bedroom. In our fucking bedroom. And I didn't stop to think. I didn't stop to ask myself, what the hell am I doing? Because I didn't want to stop. I liked the attention. I liked how it made me feel. It made things less boring. So yeah, that's how it started. That's how I started sending explicit pictures to Nick. And through all of it, I had no idea that Josh knew. Not a fucking clue. Looking back now, I feel so fucking stupid. Like, actually stupid. Because come to think of it, there were probably so many signs. Josh was quieter than usual, a little more distant, less talkative. He'd come home, give me the usual peck on the cheek, ask me about my day, but there was something off. And what did I do? I chalked it up to stress. Work had been crazy for him lately, and I figured he was just exhausted. That was all. Just work stress. Nothing more. It never even crossed my mind that he might have seen something, that he might have checked my phone or somehow found out, because Josh wasn't that kind of person. He was the kind of person who had absolute trust in me. He was the kind of person who, if something was bothering him, would sit me down and talk to me. He wasn't the type to sneak behind my back, go through my phone, or pull some shady shit. That just wasn't Josh. And maybe that's why I got so fucking careless. That's why I didn't delete messages as often as I should have been, because I genuinely didn't think I had to. Josh never touched my phone. He never cared to check. It wasn't even a thing in our marriage, so I didn't think twice. I didn't think at all. And that was my biggest fucking mistake. The day I finally realized just how fucked I was, the day I realized I had been caught, it was a Friday. And you know what's fucked up? I wasn't even worried. I had no clue, no fucking clue, that my entire life was about to implode. I had just come home from work, expecting the usual. Josh didn't work on Fridays, so I figured he'd be on the couch, maybe scrolling through his phone, waiting for me to tell him what I wanted for dinner. Some nights he'd cook before I got home, sometimes he'd just order takeout. Either way, it was supposed to be normal, but the second I stepped inside, I knew something was wrong. The house was silent. Not just quiet. Silent. No TV. No music. No sounds of him moving around in the kitchen. Just nothing. And then I saw it. Right there, on the kitchen counter, a stack of papers, neatly printed, spread out, laid out like fucking evidence at a crime scene. My heart was already pounding, but I still, somehow, didn't get it. I walked over, I reached out, I took a look. And when I tell you my whole fucking world collapsed, my stomach dropped. Like, gone. Like I wasn't even in my own body anymore. Because they were my photos. The ones I had sent to Nick. The explicit ones printed in full fucking color. Every single one of them. And sitting on top of the pile, a single note. In Josh's handwriting. Don't bother calling me. I swear to God, it felt like the floor disappeared beneath me. Like I was falling. Like my entire life had just been ripped apart in a matter of seconds. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely grab my phone, but I did. I scrambled for it. Nearly dropped it. I called him. Straight to voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. Again and again I called, but still voicemail. I was hyperventilating, crying, panicking. I ran to the bedroom, praying, begging for some sign that this wasn't what it looked like. But of course it was. His clothes? Gone. His toothbrush? Gone. His laptop? His essentials? His entire fucking presence gone. Josh wasn't coming home. I don't even remember how I got through that weekend. It's a blur. A fucking nightmare I couldn't wake up from. I don't remember eating. I don't remember sleeping. I don't remember doing anything except crying and calling Josh. Over and over and over again. He never picked up. Not once. At first I thought maybe he just needed time. Maybe he was too angry to talk. Maybe if I just kept trying, kept explaining, he'd hear me out. So I called everyone. His mom. His best friends. Our mutual friends. Anyone who might know where the hell he was. And every single one of them told me the same fucking thing. He's safe, but he doesn't want to talk to you. That was it. That was all they'd say. Like a fucking script. Like they all knew. Like they had been briefed on how to deal with me. I begged. I sent texts, paragraphs, walls of desperate, frantic apologies. I sent emails. I left voicemail so long I ran out of time and had to call back just to finish. I said everything. I apologized 1,000 times. I told him I'd do anything to fix this. I told him I didn't even care about Nick, that it was a stupid mistake, that it was nothing. I said I was sorry, that I fucked up, that I was a terrible person. But there was no response. No call back, no text. A week later, the papers came. That was when it finally started to fucking sink in. Josh wasn't just mad. He wasn't just taking time to cool off. He was done. Over. Finished. Just like that. And I swear to God, I have never felt a pain like that in my entire fucking life. It was like my entire chest caved in. Like I had been crushed under the weight of my own stupidity. Like someone had taken a sledgehammer to my ribs and just left me there, gasping and choking on my own regret. I don't even know how I got through the rest of that day, or the next. Work has been unbearable. I can't focus. I can't think. Every time I hear my name, I flinch like I'm about to be called out in front of everyone, like somehow they all know. And Nick. Every time I see him, I feel sick. Like physically ill, like I might actually throw up right there at my fucking desk. I can't even look at him. I don't even know why I ever let it get to this point. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix this. I don't even know if I can fix this, to be honest. I don't even know what I'm writing right now. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know if posting this will help me feel better. I don't know anything anymore. Update. Hello, Reddit. I don't even know why I'm making an update. I don't even know why I'm writing this. I don't even know why the fuck I'm bothering, to be honest. But before I get into it, let me just put some things out there. First of all, I'm not trying to justify anything. I never tried to justify it. I know what I did was fucked up. I know I was 100% in the wrong. There's no excuse, no explanation that could make it better. I am not here to argue. Secondly, when I first posted, I wasn't expecting anything. I was just screaming into the void, hoping that maybe, somehow, writing it all out would make me feel better. And when it didn't, I just thought, fuck it. Just post it. It's anonymous. It's Reddit. No one would even know it was me, right? Well, turns out I was a fucking idiot for thinking that, because people did recognize it. People who know me saw it, and guess what? They sent it to Josh. So yeah, he saw it. The post went viral, way more viral than I ever thought it would, and now Josh has seen every single word. And honestly, whatever. I couldn't care less anymore. Things are already so fucking shitty, what's a little more humiliation at this point? Because let me tell you, posting this on here did not make me feel better. Not even a little bit. If anything, it made me feel worse. Now it's not just me knowing how much I fucked up. Now it's out there for everyone to see and I can't take it back. And work? Work has been a nightmare. Every time I see Nick, I still feel sick, like physically ill. My stomach twists into knots, and I feel like I might actually throw up at my desk. I blocked him. Everywhere. Deleted his number. Shut down every single way he could contact me. But you know what? Blocking him didn't undo shit. It didn't erase what had already happened. It didn't erase me. And because Nick is an absolute fucking asshole, I'm now realizing just how much of an asshole he really is. He talked. He started running his mouth. At first, it was just whispers. Looks. A few side eyes from coworkers who had never paid attention to me before. Then it became something else. The silence when I walked into a room. The barely concealed smirks. The way people would glance at me, then immediately look away like they had just heard the juiciest gossip and couldn't wait to laugh about it later. I knew they knew. I knew they were talking about me. And I can barely function. I've stopped eating. Food tastes like cardboard. I can't sleep. My brain won't shut the fuck up. HR called me in because my work has tanked. My boss pulled me aside 3 separate times to ask if I was okay. I am not okay. But what the hell am I supposed to say? Oh yeah, I destroyed my marriage for a guy who doesn't even give a shit about me. A fucking asshole. And my husband, the man I love more than anything, now hates my fucking guts and wants a divorce. But yeah, I'm great. Totally thriving. And then, just when I thought the universe was done beating the absolute shit out of me, Josh showed up at the house. It was the first time I had seen him in weeks. And he wasn't alone. He brought some of his friends to help him pack up his things, his share of our house. And he didn't want to talk to me. He didn't want to look at me. I tried. I tried so fucking hard. I tried to talk to him, tried to get something out of him. Anything. But he just refused. He didn't want me to touch him. He didn't want me to pull him aside for a conversation. He didn't even want to listen to me beg. He told me, without even looking at me, that it didn't matter if I talked for 3 minutes, for an hour, for days. He was done. Then they packed up his shit, and he left. That was over a month ago. And now it's been over 2 months since I lost the best thing in my life. The divorce hasn't been finalized yet, but let's be real. There's no coming back from this. I already know it's over. I'm already planning to move out once the lease expires because, honestly, I can't afford the apartment on my own. I'm already miserable. I can't afford to be homeless and miserable. And even though I know there's no fixing this, no stopping it, no saving it, I still check my phone every day. Every single fucking day. I wake up and I hope. I pray for a message from him. But there's nothing. Because the divorce is moving forward. And the worst part? I don't even have anyone to blame but myself. Not Nick. Not anyone else. Just me. I did this. I ruined everything. And for what? For some fucking empty compliments from a guy who never actually cared about me? For some bullshit attention from a man who turned into a pathetic, bitter little child the second I cut him off? Nick got so angry when I blocked him, so pissed that I wanted nothing to do with him, that he tattled. He started fucking gossiping like a goddamn teenager, making sure everyone at work knew what happened. I am so fucking embarrassed. And if I could go back, I would do everything differently. But the thing is, you can't go back. You just have to live with the consequences. Maybe I'm hoping that Josh will see this. I'm pretty sure one of our mutual friends will stumble on it again and show it to him. Or maybe he'll check it himself. I don't know. I just hope he sees this. And I hope he realizes, I hope he understands, that I am miserable. I miss him so much. I regret everything. I fucking hate myself. And I am so fucking sorry I ever hurt him like that. He did not deserve it. Update. Hello, Reddit. I wasn't planning on updating again. Hell, I don't even know why I'm bothering. Maybe it's because some of you gave me an idea. Something I should at least try to do to make things right, even if only in a small way. A lot of you suggested that I should tell Nick's fiancée, that she deserved to know. And honestly, you were right. So yeah, I did it. It wasn't even hard to find her. Nick had her tagged in his bio, their pictures were everywhere. It took me less than 2 minutes to find her Instagram, and before I could talk myself out of it, I sent her a message request. Just something simple. I need to tell you something about Nick. I need to show you something. She accepted my request faster than I expected. I won't lie, my hands were shaking when I sent her the screenshots. Every single text. The full story. I didn't hold back. I told her the truth. She read everything, took a few minutes, then replied with a short message. Thank you for telling me. That was it. No anger, no insults, no demands for further explanations. Just a thank you. And honestly, that hurt more than if she had cussed me out. She deserved better than this. She didn't deserve to find out that the person she was planning to marry was a lying, cheating piece of shit. I haven't heard from her since, and I doubt I ever will. But I know she confronted him because Nick has been livid. He was always throwing me side eyes at work before, but now? Now he looks at me like he wants to fucking strangle me. Pure, unfiltered hatred. And you know what? I don't even care anymore. Let him be mad. He got to ruin my life, but he doesn't get to walk away clean. I'm already looking for a new job. Don't worry. I know I can't stay there much longer, but finding a job has been hell. I've applied to so many places, gone to so many interviews, and every single time, I think this is it. I think I did well. I think they liked me. And then I never hear back. Nothing. Silence. It's frustrating as fuck. I need to get out. I need to get out before I completely lose it. And speaking of losing things, the divorce is finalized. It's over. Officially. Signed, sealed, and fucking delivered. And I know I know I deserve this. I know I did this to myself, but it still hurts. More than I ever imagined it would, because that was it. That was the last thing tying Josh and me together, and now we're nothing. He's not in my life anymore. He won't ever be in my life again. And I hate myself for it. I hate myself for throwing away the best thing I ever had for what? Some cheap, meaningless attention from a man who turned out to be nothing but a fucking coward? I've been spiraling. I won't lie. I went from not eating at all to eating way too much. I've gained weight. I've stopped taking care of myself. I look in the mirror and I don't even recognize myself anymore. My apartment is small and shitty and smells like something I can't quite place, but at least I can afford it. I try to tell myself that's enough, but it doesn't feel like enough. And the worst part? I still wake up every morning and check my phone. Every fucking morning. Like a complete fucking idiot, I still hope. I still pray that maybe Josh will message me, that maybe, somehow, he'll change his mind, that maybe he'll at least want to talk. But he doesn't. He never does. He never will. And I know that. I just haven't accepted it yet. I keep waiting for the breakdown to happen. I keep waiting for the full weight of everything I lost to hit me, but it's like my brain won't even process it properly, like I'm just floating through the wreckage of my own life without even reacting to it. Everything imploded so fast that I still haven't caught up, and I don't know when I will. So yeah, that's my update. I'm a fucking mess. I regret everything. My life is in shambles, and there's no fixing it.
I am here to confess my mistake, and I am now learning my lesson, and I have learned that cheating can never lead to something good. I was letting my affair partner come over to my house after my husband left for work, and at the end of the day, my affair partner started stealing from me and also tried to set up his sister with my husband. I cannot believe that my affair partner will secretly set up his sister with my husband and make her take my place. And now my husband and I are about to get a divorce. That is because he is accusing me of stealing the valuable stuff in the house, and he is also seeing my affair partner's sister now. He also knows that I've been letting my affair partner into the house. My name is Martha, and I am a 26 years old housewife. The name of my husband is Edward, and he is 45 years old. He is a businessman, and Edward and I got married because our families were very close and they thought we were the perfect couple. Edward took me out on a couple of dates before he had me to be his girlfriend. Our relationship grew, and a few months later, we got married. Edward didn't allow me to work because his family had thought that I couldn't have time for the house if I was working, and so that's how I became a housewife. I didn't have any particular work that I was doing at that time, so it was easy for me to follow his lead. His family was emphasizing on us having children early, but I didn't give it any thought because I wasn't ready. But since Edward was in his 40s, they thought it was time he had children. I was always alone in the house all by myself, and I got used to it. As time went on, I became bored staying at home, and I wanted some sort of entertainment. I found that entertainment in Drake. I ran into Drake at the farmer's market one day, and since then we have been seeing each other. Drake and I got to know each other so well. I found out that we had a lot in common. He was my escape from all the boredom I was feeling alone in the house. He was a very funny person. He always made me laugh anytime I was feeling bored. My husband was not always around. He was always on one business trip or the other. I actually got used to it, but as a young woman, I needed a man that was close to my age, who could understand what I wanted. I needed a young man, and Drake was the one. Drake took it upon himself to do everything for me. It was the little things that he did that made me fall for him. He could open the door for me. He could help me around the house. Overall, he was doing things that my husband was not doing for me. Edward was old, and moreover, he was always on a trip or the other. A few weeks after I met Drake, he took me out on a date. We bonded a lot, and we had a lot in common. Drake was a very attentive person. He noticed the little things. And most of all, he was my age, so he understood me well. Drake didn't tell me what he did for a living, and I never understood why. I should have known better that he was a scam. He always used to tell me he had problems with his credit card, and I mostly paid for what we usually ate. I never saw it as something bad until now. Drake and I continued seeing each other for some months, and since my husband was not always around, he didn't notice, and I was happy about it because I saw something that was keeping me busy after a long time. I was always inviting Drake over to my house for us to spend quality time together. I never liked being seen in public because my husband knew a lot of people and I was afraid I could run into them. and so I avoided public places and settled for my house. In my house, Drake and I were trying new things. He taught me how to dance. I have always wanted to dance. He taught me a lot about his likes and dislikes. Drake could come over and I could prepare food for him. We could watch movies, have fun, and be happy. It went on for a while, and by that time, Drake and I started dating. We dated for a while, and he introduced me to his sister, Dora. Dora was very nice to me, and I liked her. I thought Dora was so much like me, but more bold. She could do anything she wanted, and I was jealous. Dora took me out shopping a couple of times, and she got me clothes that, according to her, I should be wearing. She boosted my self-confidence because I thought I didn't have a good body. But I didn't know all this had been done in order for me to warm up to them and for them to exploit me. They often come over to my house sometimes, and we do a lot of fun activities together. We played games and watched movies together. I often cuddle up with Drake, and Dora could always say we were such a cute couple. I could always blush because I had her approval, and it meant a lot to me. I didn't know that whenever Drake came over to my place, he was stealing something from my home. Drake was secretly doing things behind my back, and I was not aware. My husband got back from one of his numerous trips one day, and I was in the kitchen preparing food for him when he called for me. I was thinking it was just one of those days where he didn't know where he kept his watch. I went to meet him in the living room, and he told me he could not find the cash he dropped in his drawer. I told him I didn't see any money. Maybe he had spent it and he forgot. But he insisted he had dropped money there. I ended up convincing him he didn't drop any money there because if there was, I could have seen it. He ate his breakfast and promised to return early from work today, saying he was taking me out. I had plans with Drake and I had to cancel because anytime Edward was around, we don't usually see each other at all in order to avoid being caught. I did some house chores, and before I knew it, it was time for me to prepare for the dinner Edward was taking me to. I got dressed and we left. Edward always tried his best for me, and I always felt like it was never enough. Used to think that he didn't understand me because we weren't in the same age bracket. We ate dinner and he told me he was going to be around for the next couple of weeks. He had said that he had some time to spare before his next trip. I was very sad about it because I knew I was not going to see Drake for a long time. I faked being happy in order for him not to suspect that I wasn't happy. In the period that Edward was around, we visited our family members, mostly Edward's. He was very close to them. I didn't like them because anytime they saw me, they were always talking about me having children. Don't get me wrong, I wanted children, but not now. Edward was always on work trips, and I didn't want to raise children all by myself. But they didn't understand that, so I normally stayed far away from them. I was only close to Edward's mother, Edna. Edna was like a mother to me. She was part of the reason why I got married to Edward. She has these motherly hugs and care she usually gives me. It makes me feel at home, and she usually makes food and sends them to me once in a while. Whenever I needed someone to talk to, she was there. Edna was a blessing to me because I felt like she even liked me more than her own son. Whenever Edward and I had problems, she could be on my side, and I always appreciated her for it. Edward didn't stay for long before he was called for a trip and he left. I was very happy the morning he left, and I went straight to call Drake to come over. Drake and I had a good time. I even went on a spa date with Dora. We went to the beach. I was back to being fully happy again. There were days that I drank and slept over at my house. We decided to leave for a weekend getaway a few days after Edward left. We went to a town where nobody knew us, and so we were free to do whatever. We got back home, and it was not long when Edward came back from his trip. Once again, he discovered that things were missing in the house, which I didn't notice. I also discovered that my set of jewelries were also missing, but I didn't know how to explain it to Edward. He accused me of stealing from him. I was shocked because he was accusing me of something I didn't do. I could steal from my own house again. It went on for a while, and it was becoming too much. I spoke to Drake about it so that he could help me find solutions to the problem and how we could get who was stealing from us. He told me that I shouldn't drop my keys under the doormat again, and that I should be giving it to him in order for him to keep things safe in the house. I didn't know I was giving the key to my house to the thief himself. Whenever my husband was around, Dora could come over and we could talk sometimes. We did things together, and I didn't know that she had eyes for my husband. She could come over with clothes that were too revealing, and I never saw it as anything for a day. Looking back on it, I wished I had said something to her or stopped her from coming to the house. She could move around in front of my husband, serve him food, and do things for him. I thought she was just caring. unknown to me that she had already made plans with her brother in order for them to snatch my husband away from me because they thought he had money, and I was in their way of getting it. Drake and Dora hatched their plan well, and I let them into my house. Dora got close to my husband, and I didn't know until it was too late. At that point, Dora was already seeing my husband secretly. He was giving her money and buying her gifts, things he didn't buy for me. He took her on different trips, and I didn't know. Unknown to me, I was still in a relationship with her brother. Drake and I continued to see each other, and whenever I was with Drake, Dora was with my husband. It went on for a while. Whenever my husband comes back from those trips, he was always angry with me for doing one thing or the other. We usually fight a lot since he started seeing Dora. I didn't know that Dora was instigating my husband against me. Drake could steal things from my house, and my husband could blame me, saying I was the thief. I didn't know that my husband had taken my house problem to Dora to discuss. Dora had told him I was the one stealing those items and using the money for my personal benefits. My husband could come home and start saying all manner of things to me. I was very confused, and there were days I could cry myself to sleep. After some time, the stealing stopped, and I didn't know it stopped because Edward was around and I was not letting Drake into my house. Edward and I were not particularly on good terms. We went about our normal lives for some time, and I found out that Edward had changed in a lot of ways. He was not paying attention to me like usual. I knew we weren't that cuddly couple, but I knew something wasn't right. He went out at night and stayed up late. He comes back home drunk, and sometimes he doesn't come at all. He made late-night calls, and that got me really worried. I decided to follow him one day in order for me to find out what was going on. I saw him entering a restaurant with a woman, but when I confronted him about it, he told me it was just a business partner he took to lunch to thank her for work. And I didn't believe him because I knew Edward, he didn't know how to lie. So I talked to Drake and Dora about what was going on with Edward, and they told me to not think too much into it, that it might just be nothing. They made me believe something was wrong with me, and I should stop thinking about what wasn't there. Unknown to me, they were the ones doing everything. My relationship with Drake continued, and I always felt at peace with him. And I was thinking we should move to the next stage because I saw him as a genuine person who loved me. But every time I brought it up, he could find something to say that it wasn't the right time, and that when the time was right, it could happen. I believed him because I thought he needed time. But I was wrong. Few days after Drake left my house came back and started complaining again. But this time I was tired, and I decided to install cameras in my house without anyone knowing. I didn't tell Drake because I knew he could talk me out of it. So I installed cameras and waited for who was stealing from me to strike again. The first day, I didn't see anything, and I kept waiting, but no one suspicious came into the house. It took time for me to discover that Drake was the one stealing from me. I caught Drake on the camera taking something from my husband's drawer and putting it in his pocket. I didn't want to believe it. I felt used. I started crying because I allowed a thief into my house and I thought he was a saint. I even went to him with my problems in order for him to help me. Unknown to me that my enemies were very close. I never for once suspected that it was Drake that was stealing from me. I didn't know how I was going to explain to my husband that it was my affair that was stealing from us all this while. How was I going to explain it? After a few days of ignoring Drake's call, I finally made up my mind to speak to him. I decided was not to allow a thief into my house again. I met up with him at a cafe. I showed him the video and he didn't deny it. I was very surprised. I threatened to report him to the police for stealing from me, but he said if I did, he was going to expose me to my husband, and I didn't want that. Drake wasn't the man I met a few months back. He had totally changed the man I spent a lot of my time with, and couldn't have threatened me that way. He said he had videos he was going to send to my husband if I didn't let him go. I cried out of the cafe and I never looked back. I got home and I saw a message from Drake threatening me to do exactly what he wanted. He extorted me a great deal. He asked me to take money from my husband, which I did. I was seriously blackmailed by the person I thought was my supposed affair. I gave Drake a lot of money, and countless times I had explained to him that it could be a problem if my husband found out, but he didn't listen to me. After countless extortions from Drake, my husband finally found out that his money was missing. He called me and asked him what I had been doing with the huge amount of money I was taking. I didn't know how to explain to him that I was being blackmailed by the man I had an affair with, because I knew it would end my marriage. Since I didn't have a good explanation for the money, my husband decided to report to our family members that I was a thief and that I had been stealing from the house. I had to explain to them that I used the money to buy some personal stuff, so I was able to buy myself some time. They didn't ask me further, and I was glad. A few weeks later, I saw my husband with Dora in a restaurant holding hands intimately. It was then I became aware that it had been their plan to destroy my marriage. I couldn't go straight and confront them because I was also guilty, and if exposed, it could ruin my marriage. I met up with Dora to stop seeing my husband, but she refused. These people were out to destroy me, and I was the one that bought them. I discovered that all along it was Dora that my husband had been seeing secretly. I should have known better. It all made sense now. A few days later, I was doing everything within my power to keep things away from my husband. But since he was with Dora, I was always afraid he was going to find out one way or the other. Drake didn't leave me alone. He kept on taking money from me, and I didn't know what to do. They claimed they had a video of me and Drake together, and they threatened to show my husband. At some point, I had to stop giving Drake money. My husband had cleared out the money that was in the account. I became helpless, and Drake kept on blackmailing me. But at that point, I was tired, and I didn't have any more money to give again. I began selling out all the valuable things I had, but it wasn't enough. Dora finally exposed me to my husband after I refused to give them money. My husband was very angry at me. He found out that I was cheating on him with someone. I had to explain to him that I was set up by these people, but he didn't believe me because Dora had already fed him with enough lies about me. I kept begging Edward to listen to me that I was set up, but he didn't hear me. My husband kept on talking about what I did, but he was still the one in a relationship with Dora. I didn't see the difference, but then again, I was fooled by them. So I knew he was also being fooled, and I tried to open his eyes to see the reality, but I wasn't heard. My husband asked me to pack out of the house because I cheated on him, and at that point, everything came crashing down on me. I was going to be homeless, I didn't have money, and I had sold my valuables to get money for Drake. I didn't know where to go. I got to my mother's old house hoping that Edward had a change of heart somehow. But it never happened. I went to his parents' house in order for them to speak to Edward to forgive me. But they turned me away, calling me all sorts of names and how I was a thief who had been stealing and cheating on their son. A few days later, I was given divorce papers that were already signed by Edward. I cried my eyes out because I had lost something good I had. I lost my marriage. I was looking for something that wasn't going to last. Now I have lost my husband to Dora and Drake. I shouldn't have cheated on Edward. He was everything a woman should want, but I was being greedy instead of me. To make my marriage work, I went after someone who was finally my downfall. Update. Hello guys, so right now my husband and I finalized the divorce. He made sure to painfully drag things out. He left me without a penny. I was fine with that because honestly, it was never about the money with me. I tried to explain to him the kind of person Dora and her brother were, but he never listened. I regretted what I did back then. I shouldn't have cheated on my husband. I even brought my affair partner to my house, which was very wrong. I started working at a restaurant as a waitress now because what had happened taught me a lesson that I needed to have my own money. And most importantly, I am depending on myself now. It wasn't easy, but I was trying my best. A few weeks ago, I heard that Dora and Drake ran away with money belonging to Edward. I felt pity for him only because I was human. I did warn him about them, but he didn't listen. He always said I was jealous. Right now, I made some friends who were showing me to the right path in life, and I am so happy to have them. I am always glad anytime I remember that I never gave in to the pressure of having children with Edward, because it could have been so much more complicated with children. A few days back, I went to Edward's place to check up on him, because I also heard he was in a very bad place. And when I got there, he chased me out, blaming me for being the reason for his problems. I understood where he was coming from. I was the one that brought Dora and Drake into our family, and they destroyed us beyond repair. Looking back, I know I disappointed a lot of people, especially Edna, Edward's mother. When she found out, she was very devastated. I couldn't look her in the face anymore. She was everything one could want in a mother, and the fact that she took me as her daughter and I did this to her makes what I did 1,000,000 times worse. Right now, she isn't talking to me and I can't even reach her anymore. She has distanced herself from me ever since. I shouldn't have cheated. I regret what I did because I hurt the people who I loved and also the people who loved me. The relationship I thought was gold and I was running after turned out to be dust. Drake never liked me. He carefully planned to milk me of my husband's money. He never loved me. Dora was just like her brother. She wasn't genuine like I thought. Everything they said to me was calculated, and I was a fool for falling into their trap. I should have known better.